Liberation Day is here. Trump has announced his tariffs and reciprocal tariffs on a lot of different countries. And what do the markets do? They absolutely puke. So are things really that bad? How could I actually be bullish when everything is looking so terrible? Especially when I see Bitcoin pumping up in a day about 4% and then losing it all, giving it all away. How could I possibly be bullish right now? Well, the reality is that the chart tells the story every time. A lot of people are focused too much on these percentages. They're looking at, well, he's doing this and he's doing that, where the chart tells the story every time. Now, I'm going to be breaking down why I think the crypto market is still bullish, why I think the price of Bitcoin is actually going to be heading up a lot higher than most people think, and why I think that alts are insanely short-term oversold as well. But before I get there, my name is Aaron Dishner from The Better Traders, and you are watching the Coin Bureau Trading channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, slam that subscribe button, hit the like button, take out a pen and paper to take some notes along the way. You'll want to keep track of these tickers that I'm sharing with you over here on TradingView today. So, the first thing, the good news, BTC, despite what everyone else thinks, it actually had a really good day yesterday. Yes, I know it was drastically slam dunked as soon as the price got any whiff of these tariffs being like good, I guess you could say. We saw the price get extremely happy here at about 5 a.m. my time, pumped up about 1%, and then got absolutely smacked down. Now, how could I possibly be excited about price action like this, you say? Well, there's a couple of reasons why, and we actually need to go to the daily time frame first. For one, we can clearly see that the price of BTC wicked right here into this overhead resistance fan line. Now, if you're not familiar with resistance fans, it's okay because I'm pretty sure it's something I came up with. I haven't seen anyone else talk about this, but it's just successively lower resistance levels, and then we just draw trend lines based off of those. So we have a really nice wick yesterday, despite the red close on yesterday's daily candle. I want you to see that this is the first pierce, not test, pierce of this second resistance fan line ever. This is a fantastic move for BTC. Not only is this fantastic, if we go to the weekly time frame, I actually shared with you guys several times on several different platforms that my short-term target yet again before this pump happened was right here, TBO fast line on the weekly, which was at 87,711. It literally slam dunked right into that level. Now, let's go back to the daily chart because there's more good stuff that's happening despite the volatility, despite this big pullback that we're seeing right here for BTC. What I'm really excited about right now is volume. For the first time since March 11th, we're finally seeing volume outperform the moving average. One day of volume outperforming this yellow moving average is not enough. What we need to see now is consistently bullish volume, outperforming all of this yellow line here, all of this, just this yellow line right here. When we see volume day after day after day outperforming the moving average, eventually that moving average will start to move up. Now, just for a second, look at this price action. Good. Now forget it because it's a concept that I want to help you with right now. We all know what happened back here. I know you're probably getting PTSD flashbacks from February into March on all this fun stuff from 97K all the way down to like some terrible number. But look at how important volume was right here. We see volume drastically outperforming the moving average. This was telling us that there was a strong trend. We saw volume dropping, and ever since then, volume has been steadily declining. We've seen lots of chop. We've seen lots of, okay, this is nice, oh, not so nice. This is nice, not so nice. But pay attention to daily volume. When we see daily volume starting to fall off a cliff after seeing a huge spike, that means that there isn't much strength in whatever price action we're seeing. But the moment we start a new trend, The moment where we start to see, or rather it's signs of a new trend, is right here, when volume starts to outperform the moving average. Don't worry about what direction the moving average is headed in right now. It is down. I do think, though, that we are due for a pullback. I do think and I do expect Bitcoin to actually go up a lot higher. The other thing that I'm watching is on-balance volume. On-balance volume is a great indicator because it shows us cumulative volume. Every single daily candle gives us bullish volume or bearish volume. And that bullish volume results in an increase in this blue jagged line of on-balance volume, or if it's red, it's going to be a bearish volume. But despite the slam dunk, the slap in the face right here that we got yesterday on this Liberation Day announcement, we didn't see on-balance volume make a new low. Didn't even get close to the low we saw on March 10th. And more importantly, I'm watching this moving average right here on OBV. It doesn't help that this is the same color, but notice it's flattened out quite a lot. Now, the reason why this is such a good thing, the fact that this moving average is flattening out, it tells us two things. One, this initial trend is weakening. Just like the extreme selling that I was showing you before, on-balance volume is reflecting that. Now, we are really waiting for this to happen, on-balance volume to go, basically start to form one of these elbow joints. But we need to see a huge spike in on-balance volume like this, shooting up to higher highs, and that will pick up the moving average. We haven't seen that happen yet. And like I said before, this will only happen with consecutively green closes with lots of volume. And that's what we saw happen back here. If we pay attention to OBV and volume, back over here in September, we started to see volume outperform the moving average, and that forced the on-balance volume moving average to go up. When we see on-balance volume, the trend line right here, the moving average here, starting to trend upward, even if we have a pullback, we have a new trend in place, and this is telling us the direction of the market. So the reason why I'm getting excited and optimistic here is that even though this is still slightly trending down, I'm actually expecting this white moving average to flatten out and then to slowly curl up like this. And the only way that will happen is when on-balance volume starts to close green on the daily candles and it starts pushing up higher and higher. It'll look something like this. It's still extremely premature to expect this to happen right away. But the fact that we got this major volatility on Liberation Day announcements, this tariff announcement, and the fact that we see daily volume outperforming or exceeding the yellow moving average line, these are both great signals. Another bullish signal. Notice we haven't even talked about the price yet. Trust me, I will. But when we look at daily RSI, you would think with all of the fear and the panic that we're seeing for Bitcoin, for S&P Futures, for the Nikkei, there's a lot of other charts, but I'm not going to get into those in this video. But I want you to see that there is a complete lack of fear in the relative strength index, which says a lot because this is telling us what the relative strength of Bitcoin is in general. Now, one thing you have to know about this is that we have had a massive overhead line of resistance in place really since the middle of January 18th. Back over here in late March, we had our first test, then there was a severe correction. And then you would think after the bearish vibes that we got yesterday, Bitcoin going up and down, like in total 6%, losing 6%, that RSI would be destroyed. No, it only fell back to like 40.56. It's still relatively neutral. So we have a bullishly ascending RSI that still has a higher low, and there's the bottom right there. We have on-balance volume starting to flatten out, showing us that we should be seeing this blue jagged line go above it, which will pull this up, which means we have a start of a new uptrend. We have volume finally outperforming the moving average. Now, granted, these are all extremely early signals, okay? But remember, I just shared with you before, we have our first pierce of this level. And for all of you that have been subscribed to Coin Bureau Trading for a long time, you know how I interpret these pierces and tests. A test Like this is when the price just comes right up to it, this resistance line here, but it doesn't exceed it. So it's testing it and it gets rejected. There will be tests and there will be pierces, but the difference between a test and a pierce is that a pierce is a much more significant impact on that line, significantly weakening it and also significantly increasing the chances of the price to exceed that level again. As crazy as it sounds, I have some extremely bullish targets for BTC. A lot of people watching this and a lot of people on X and on their other platforms will probably disagree with me. But I have some reasonable convictions as to why that is. Before I get to that, I want to draw your attention to a couple of things because I expect the prices of not just Bitcoin, but a lot of altcoins to do extremely well over the next month or so, really. And if that's the case, and you don't have an exchange that you're really happy with or satisfied with, in the description of this video down below, there are links to sign up for CoinCatch, 2Bit, Bybit. Now, Bybit, these are all centralized exchanges. Bybit is a great exchange. I use this for both spot and futures trading. But CoinCatch and 2Bit are unique because they both have the certification to operate in the United States and in Canada legally. And you don't have to fill out a KYC. You don't have to give them your identity information, anything like that, and you can still withdraw up to like $50,000 a day. So when you click these links to sign up for for CoinCatch with the Coin Bureau link, there are these extra bonuses that are based off of your trading volume and other things. There are actually way more deals as well on the Coin Bureau website. If you go to the deals button here and you scroll down, you can join the Coin Bureau Club, which is a private Discord server with tons of alpha. There are other exchanges, other tools like Ledger or Trezor. Plus, there's a discount off of our course, 15 Minutes to Find Your Freedom, through the Better Traders. You hit the Buy Now button and it takes you to our site where you can save 10% on this course, which is a ridiculously effective course for people that are new or intermediate level cryptocurrency traders that are looking for ways to leverage automated trading tools focusing on all trading. Now, the reason why I'm sharing all that with you is because this period right here is an incredible time to be trading. It's difficult to be an investor here. Trust me, I know. But trading in these conditions is so much better. And I've been saying it over and over. Just take profits on the bounces. When we see on Monday, price of Bitcoin here at 82K, and we see a nice increase of 6% on BTC, if you're not taking a little bit of profits on these bounces that we're seeing, and it's not just with Bitcoin, it's with lots of other coins, you're missing out. These conditions can be so extremely frustrating because of all the chop, because of all the sideways consolidation. But as a trader, man, oh man, this is great because you can buy the dip, sell the bounce, buy the dip, sell the bounce, and you don't have to sell everything. You can keep 10%. You can do a lot of that stuff, actually a lot more, a lot easier with all trading. Now, I want to talk about this chart next. Bitcoin, yeah, it got smacked down pretty hard, but honestly, it feels to me like BTC does not want to go much lower than this. I'm going to talk about my price target later because I have to share other charts with you first to build the case for that price target, okay? But the main thing I need you to understand is that on this tariff announcement, we should have seen, if things are really that bad, we should have seen Bitcoin dump all the way down here to 76K or worse, like 74K. But it didn't. It actually held support, which shows that there is a lot of price-based support here in this 80K range where entities are thinking that Bitcoin is actually at a really good price right here, which I agree with them. Now, when we look at S&P Futures right here, yes, there was a massive drop on Wednesday. It opened at about 56.68, saw a decent little move up, and then it gapped down and it lost about 3%, which is a big move for the S&P, for S&P Futures especially. Now, the main thing though that I'm seeing on here that I'm kind of like rubbing my eyes and looking at this like, wait, are you serious? The thing that I find the most interesting is, of course, yes, there's this big scam wick because of the tariff announcement, but We're not dumping more. It's just coming right back up. Are you serious right now? It filled the gap and that's that? Like we're just gonna keep moving on like nothing ever happened here. Don't get me wrong, this is still pretty bearish. It's very much below the daily TBO cloud, although it did kiss or wick right here into the TBO fast line. It keeps making these lower lows. But when you zoom out and you understand what's actually happening here, like with daily RSI, what's actually happening is pretty amazing. The price is falling, it's going lower and lower, but we're seeing daily RSI moving higher and higher. That's hidden bullish divergence, which is great because we're seeing RSI growing, indicating strength, price falling, indicating weakness, but we are going off of RSI because the relative strength index, the whole purpose of this indicator is to show us what underlying strength, or rather each asset's underlying strength. So when I see this growing, it's a really good sign. When I see this waking down on the bad news, I get it. But I think it's short-term pain for long-term gains. Now, there's clearly support here on RSI. If we continue to see more pain in the stock market and we break the support level, yeah, things are probably going to get worse for the S&P. It could probably fall down a little bit more. I don't expect it to happen, though. I'm not really seeing it yet. I think short-term, we're going to see a bounce. Now, let's go back to crypto. Stablecoin Dominance is a fantastic chart because Stablecoin Dominance shows us how much of the entire crypto market cap is dominated or consists of stablecoins. Now, of course, there's going to be an increase on a bearish dump like we saw. And this one actually was quite a big jump. It's like 3%, 3.91, almost 4% increase. But where did it stop? I mean, I can make this super duper easy to see. It stopped right here at previously broken support, which now confirms it as resistance. This is a great sign for stablecoin dominance that keeps moving up higher. If we look at daily RSI, yes, it did break above this resistance level right here, and it fell back down and it made a lower high. There's no strength in this move. It's just a temporary move. The chart that has me the most concerned long-term, and it should be the same for you, is Bitcoin dominance, because we saw Bitcoin dominance increase for basically 6 days by 1.71%. It doesn't seem like that much, but this causes a lot of short-term pain in the altcoin market. But the big thing that's happening right now, despite it being very much overbought and overextended from the fast line, is daily RSI. We have a high here of 82.77 on February the 7th, and we just saw a high of 82. When we see RSI meet levels, it's a little bit of a nail biter. It's not the best thing that you could possibly see on a chart. But with that said, we didn't see RSI exceed this level. My guess is that Bitcoin dominance is short-term overbought. Therefore, I expect Bitcoin dominance to retrace back down here, well, really to like 61.74, and ideally, it's going to break below the support line, which would be extremely bullish for alts. Yes, I do think Bitcoin will move up higher. We could continue to see Bitcoin dominance move up. And if Bitcoin dominance does not fall down, but it just chops sideways and continues to stay strong bullish, we need to be extremely careful about others, about everything below the top 10 versus BTC. This is like your LTC BTC trades. This is like Sol BTC, all this stuff that you might be wanting to trade up your Bitcoin with. There's a little bit of a warning flag here. And that warning flag is because others BTC broke a long-term support level. This support level has been in place not just for 1 year, not 2 years. I have to zoom out. I need to fix this rate on this thing. It's awful. There we go. There we go. It took forever. Right here, we got this pierce of this support level. Perfect example of a pierce. The week of February 3rd. And now we're seeing a close. We still have 3 days left, but this is, again, another pierce after a test just a couple weeks ago. This level is going to drop. If this support level drops, my expectation is that others is going to fall all the way down here to 0.1, which means that Bitcoin will most likely outperform others. Now, how long will it take? Well, the last times we've seen this happen, we see others drop like 47% in 50 days. Here we go, is another period where it just dropped a lot. 77 days, lost 55%. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of drastic decrease in others versus BTC, because what we see happen after both of these times is a significant rally on others BTC. But knowing that we're breaking support right here, this chart has me the most concerned out of everything, because we need to remember that Bitcoin is king, and while we can make a lot of short-term gains with our others market cap coins, there's a lot more risk with others right now compared to BTC. Now, is others short-term oversold? Yes, it is. Is it holding support? Yeah, on on-balance volume it is. On RSI, it's doing so-so. Price is still pretty much oversold still. But again, we're starting to see slow signs of reversal. We're already seeing daily volume exceeding the moving average, but this needs to happen for the next, it needs to sustain over and above this yellow moving average for like another 2 weeks. It's not just like a one and done thing. And that should result in positive price action for others. But right now, this chart has me a little bit concerned, namely others BTC. Now, I want to go back here to BTC because I hinted at the beginning where I think this is headed. And I think that you're going to be pretty surprised by this. For one, I expect Bitcoin to move up above these two overhead resistance lines within the next 7 to 10 days. It's a bold claim, and that would be an increase from our current price above these two. It's just a 6% move. It seems like a bold claim, but 6% is nothing. We literally just saw that yesterday. Now, after a week, if we're not there, then we're just going to be chop city. But I'm expecting the price of BTC to slowly close inside of the TBO cloud like it was last week, to test and to pierce these levels and to close above it within 7 to 10 days. When this happens, we will see a TBO close short. Hopefully, two of these guys. These two signals right here, doesn't always have to be two, but these orange dots are bullish reversal signals. These both happened before we saw a significant rally. And just like anything else, when we see more than one of them, we need to pay attention. So when we see two of these guys together near support, that is an amazingly bullish reversal signal. Did the price go down after printing these? Yeah, it did. But in the long term, it went way up. I'm not expecting a way up rally, but I'm telling you now, when Bitcoin goes inside of the cloud, when it pierces and crosses above these two white lines, it will most likely print one of those orange diamonds, which will be a bullish reversal signal in the same way that this is a bearish reversal signal, TBO close longs. When that happens, my target for BTC is actually over here on the weekly chart. And I don't even need the TBO to show you where it is, because we're going to be looking at price-based levels. If we just look at price action right here on the weekly, we've seen these levels get tested over and over and over. There will be a little bit of resistance here between 89 to 80 and 89,752 because of price. But the real level that's going to be an area of contention, or a level of contention, is going to be right here, 93K. If you look at price action, we have the start of this horrific week back in early March that started at 94K. We have the close of this week. It had a massive dump, came back up, massive dump again. Looking at the wicks here, it's here at 94K. Looking at the closes here, 94K, this wick down here, 94K. This range between 94K and down here where these two closes are, right here around this level, 93K, this is my short-term target. If we look at this as well, it makes a whole lot of sense, especially on the daily time frame. Again, let's just make this super easy. I'm going to take away my resistance fan just so we're focusing on price action. If we look at this, You can clearly see why I'm expecting there to be resistance at about 93K to 94K because of all of this price action in this range. This is where Bitcoin's headed next, and no one is expecting this. Not that I can see on my timeline. Of course, we're going to have like the perma bulls that are always calling for $200,000 next week. And we're going to have the perma bears calling for $10 next week. I really think that as we see Bitcoin start to test and challenge these overhead resistance lines, as we see volume come in, as we see on-balance volume start to change direction, as we see strength is holding here, it makes more sense to see BTC slowly make its way up to 94K. Now, I'm not saying that I'm expecting 94K in 7 to 10 days, but I think that this is the most logical outcome, mainly because most people aren't expecting it. Now, I get it. I'm a talking head on a fairly large YouTube channel, thanks to all of you. So you're all going to probably want to counter trend trade me, looking at me as this like fool up here, like, okay, 94K, yeah, right, there's no way that's going to happen. But what I've noticed in my 8 years trading crypto is that Bitcoin does what everyone least expects. When everyone is bearish, Bitcoin goes, oh, really? Faked you out. Like it's one of those amazing running back plays for American football where you just see people getting psyched out left and right and ducking and doing what everyone least expects. I really do think that we're going to see Bitcoin increase, and it's going to throw a lot of people by surprise. It's going to throw a lot of people off, and it will also cause a lot of short sellers to pile in late to short the increase, which will cause a lot of short selling liquidation cascades, short squeezes, going all the way up to 94. Eventually, we're going to top out, though, short term at 94K. I don't think we're going to go right back up to 100K. If we do, hey, it's good. I mean, I'm happy with that, but I'm also cautiously optimistic about going beyond 93, 94K just because of price action. What do you do moving forward? For one, Others BTC is extremely bearish. That means you need to be careful. You need to be careful in two ways. One, you need to be careful that you don't use your BTC to trade altcoin pairs, especially if we continue to see that fall. That would be a very, very silly thing to do. If you're in those positions, and I have a couple right now, you just want to find ways to close them as soon as possible. And there are lots of ways to do that. We teach how to do that in our courses, Better Traders, by the way. The other thing to consider with others BTC falling is that if others is falling against Bitcoin, that means Bitcoin is outperforming everything outside of the top 10. A lot of you watching this channel, I know you're all fantastic and you're amazing people, but let's be honest, a lot of you are degens and you are way too overexposed, or you have been way too overexposed in a lot of crap that isn't even around today, right? Let's be honest. How many of you are fading Bitcoin? So I want you to consider allocating some of your portfolio to BTC, especially when Bitcoin gets bullish, because when Bitcoin is bullish, alts typically cannot catch up in the short term, but eventually they will. Eventually they'll start to catch up and they're going to get really excited and they're going to overshoot whatever Bitcoin does. But we have to wait for Bitcoin to pause after that. And again, that target is 93K. There's still a lot of uncertainty with the tariffs. We've seen the damage that tariffs have caused back in February and again in March, and here we are in April. Is it over? I really hope it is over. But what I'm seeing right now is this slow change in the crypto market that a lot of coins are just tired of being oversold. We're seeing these little pops and spurts of volume. We're seeing these little mini rallies getting started and then squashed down. These are all of the signals that I've seen happen so many times before after an extended bear market or extended bearish period, where everyone is thinking there's no possible way this coin can go up. This coin does not deserve to go back up. I'm going to keep shorting this market. I'm going to get my revenge on it. Be extremely cautious and careful revenge trading against bullish moves. Just in the same way, you have to be extremely cautious and careful about not buying too early on the dips. I'm guilty of that on this recent pullback as well. So the main thing, 7 to 10 days is that window that I'm looking at for the price of Bitcoin to go above resistance. Now, there's a couple of other things, but I don't have enough time in this video, but I've already talked about it before. And I want you, after you're done watching this video, I want you to watch this video. It's going to pop up right here. That's going to talk about the BVOL7D chart. This is a really easy chart to track. You don't need to pay for anything. You don't have to have special indicators. You literally just have to have access to TradingView. I'm going to show you how to interpret this chart and how to use it, and how I use it to predict when Bitcoin is going to be seeing an increase in volatility or a decrease in volatility, and what that means for altcoins. So watch that video after this one. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.